Welcome, everybody, to our first President Series for the Babies and Children's Foundation. And our first leader that we have in today is Jill Clark, who was the president of RBCF from 2014 to 2016. So welcome, Jill.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
We are so excited to have you, but I wanted to help you warm up a little. So I'm going to have you warm up with some rapid fire questions where we get to know you. Coffee or tea?
Diet Coke.
What was your first job ever?
My first job ever was working in the bookkeeping department of a little country bank in my hometown. Posted accounts and filed checks. Very old-fashioned.
What is a book, movie, or show that you always recommend?
Love West Wing, an old TV show with a great view of the presidency.
And I know the answer to this might be Diet Coke, but what is one thing you can't start your day without?
Diet Coke.
Okay.
I get up and get dressed, and actually, I don't just like Diet Coke. I like Diet Coke from a specific Burger King on Cedar Road, and I start the day with a large and a small.
Wow. I
Yeah,
love how
crazy.
specific this is. Well,
Huh?
my last question was going to be, what is something surprising about you that people may not know? Although this Diet Coke thing seems very surprising to me, but is there anything else?
Well, I think some people might not know that, although many people do, early in my life as an adult, I practiced law and I was general counsel of the Federal Reserve Bank here in Cleveland. It was actually early in the time when women were just starting to flood into law schools, and in my class, there were just 10% women. So it was a different time in the practice of law. It was fun.
Where did you go to law school?
At Case here in Cleveland. That's how I
Oh.
ended up here in Cleveland.
So where are you from originally, if not from Cleveland?
I'm from a tiny little town in southeast Ohio or southwest Ohio, Greenville.
So Ohio native, but not a Cleveland native.
No, no.
Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your time with the Rainbow Presidency and just overall with your experience with the Rainbow Babies and Children's Foundation.
Mhm.
So the first question I wanted to ask is, what inspired you to get involved with the foundation?
When I started to think about having children, um, I was older. I was 40. And one of the most important things to me is, where should I seek care? And Rainbow was known as having the best child care in the area. And I knew that I could have a baby at McDonald House and be right next to the NICU if it was needed. So that's what kind of first attracted me to Rainbow. And then as I learned more about it and used their services on a non-emergency basis for kids, I just realized the incredible importance of having a children's hospital in the area. And I come from such a small town. We barely had a hospital, and we certainly didn't have a children's hospital or really access to a pediatrician without going to 35 miles to a big city.
How did that path lead to becoming president?
um, I was very good friends with Julie Raskin, who preceded me by a few terms in presidency and was on the board uh, much earlier than I was. And I had a lot of respect for Julie, and she was the one who nominated me to the foundation. And I was thrilled to be nominated and thrilled to join the foundation. I did a lot of other jobs in the foundation, served on, I think, virtually every committee there was, co-chaired Ride the Rainbow. I had I had done a lot of different roles in the foundation and always enjoyed those roles. And when I was asked to be president, it came at a good time in my life. My kids were good ages, and it seemed like a fun thing to do.
What was the most memorable project or initiative you worked on during your presidency?
Two presidencies before mine, a campaign to build the endowment was started. And it had been languishing a little bit. And so during my term, we really diligently pursued that and brought that to a close. So I was happy to have wound that up. The other thing that was just coming online during my term was the Ahuja Women and Children's Center down on Euclid Avenue. And it was such an exciting project, and we were already in the midst of one of our 5-year donation cycles, so we had already signed the agreement with UH in terms of what we were giving. But our board found it within our means to make a 5-year, $5 million gift to the center. So the foundation was very pivotal in getting that off the ground and getting that built. Really transformative, and so much leadership uh, in women's and children's care through that center. Such a shining star of Patty DePompey's leadership that this was conceived of and built, and is having such a really a community-wide impact, and I think inspiring other children's hospitals in other states and communities to consider the same way of reaching out to their population. It's a stellar example of what Rainbow can do.
Were there moments during your presidency that taught you something new about yourself?
It provided me such a wonderful opportunity to work with so many dynamic women and female leaders. And I had become an adult and joined the workforce at a time when women in leadership was just starting to happen and become more frequent. I shouldn't say starting to happen, it was becoming more frequent. And so there weren't necessarily that many women leaders that one got to work with, but to have this just incredibly dynamic group of women from all walks of life, from all walks of the community, was just really fun and exciting to work with.
I can already say one part of it is that it's always had female leaders. That's
Yes.
always been a part of it. That's in the DNA of this organization. Is there anything else that you see through this foundation where you feel like it's unique to other organizations that you've worked with?
I do think the uniqueness is the all women composition. Um, and I love that. And I love that we look for women to join our board who have skill sets, um, but maybe are working now, maybe are not working now, maybe had those skill sets early in their lives, but they're older now, and we can draw on tremendous skill sets that they have. It's just, I think we reach out to women at all stages of their lives. I love the fact that our board is composed of all age groups, um, current moms, women who have never had children, women who are later in their years. It's just, it's a tremendously diverse, even though we're all women. And I love that.
Do you have a favorite story or moment from your time as president or even, still active on the board that makes you smile even today?
Well, I think probably because we finally got this endowment campaign done during my presidency, I do love and look back fondly on the time after my presidency when we dedicated the wall in the Rainbow Lobby area um, to that campaign and to the donors of that campaign. So that's a special memory to have our foundation forever represented in an important hallway of Rainbow.
How do you stay connected to the organization's mission today?
Well, I think I might be more involved in Rainbow now than I've ever been. Um, I was asked to join the Cleveland Medical Center board several years ago. So I serve on that board. And, as part of any board membership, you serve on various committees. And so I've also served on the Rainbow Board, which was initially organized as kind of a committee of the CMC board, the Cleveland Medical Center board. And right now, I'm also chairman of that Rainbow Board. So I'm hip deep into into Rainbow and its working these days. From a different perspective than I had when I served on the foundation, but my work on the foundation has been such an invaluable background to serve as a member of the Rainbow Board and now to serve as its chairperson.
What are the biggest differences between the board for the Rainbow Foundation and the
Mhm.
board for the Rainbow, what you're doing right now?
Well, on the board on the Cleveland Medical Center Rainbow Board, we are much more concerned with the financial health of Rainbow. We're much more prospective in thinking forward as to where we need to be. And we also pay a lot more attention to the quality measures and really uh, the system-wide metrics of Rainbow.
Are there things that you're learning currently on the Rainbow Board,
Mhm.
that you wish you could just infuse into the foundation?
I would love for the foundation to know how broad and deep in the community passion for Rainbow flows. And that there are sometimes in the foundation I feel or have felt as though we think it's just us out there championing Rainbow and trying to push it forward. And really, there is such a community-wide effort uh, to to move Rainbow to where it needs to be. Um, I've also enjoyed very much on the Rainbow Board learning more about the hospital finances and how those finances directly impact Rainbow, um, and the flexibility of decisions that can be made at the board and management level as to how Rainbow is funded. And it's one of those things where I think through the foundation and through the Rainbow Board, it's always fascinating to learn how businesses work. And the hospital, while it's nonprofit, is a business, and it's just been very interesting to me to learn kind of the background of how that business runs. But it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to delve more deeply into
Yeah.
Rainbow and to bring that information back to the foundation board.
Well,
Mm.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how can we cross-pollinate
Right.
in a way that it's mutually beneficial? Because it seems like it would just be really good to have that context on both sides.
Very good. And I should add too that the foundation president gives a report
Mhm.
at the Rainbow Board meeting. And what I really love when the president gives her report is that the members of the Rainbow Board learn what an incredibly important component the foundation is of what happens at Rainbow.
Mm.
It helps us recruit the top doctors. It helps fund endowments. It's just such a structurally critical member of what goes on at Rainbow. And I just love it when other people learn about that.
We're going to end this on a high note, Jill. In one sentence, how would you describe the impact of the Rainbow Babies and Children's Foundation?
Transformative.
I mean, that was amazing. You didn't even do it in one sentence. You did it in one word. Like, way to exceed expectations, Jill. That was amazing. Well, Jill, it was so wonderful to have you today. Thank you so much for being a part of our series. And I hope to see you around soon at more events.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.